Hey everybody, Sean and Allison here from Spoken Garden. Today it's Friday and it's Plant Chat Friday.
Yay!
Woo!
Can't believe it's Friday already.
I know.
Wow, this
the week just flew right by. So guys, today we're going to be highlighting Vinca Minor, the lesser periwinkle.
You know, Vinca is a beautiful ground cover, and we have talked about it. We've removed it in a previous video because it does become really invasive if you don't. It really can be. Right, if you don't stay on top of it. But it's so beautiful this time of year when it's just starting to bloom, so we can't wait to show you.
It's a great plant also to have in your garden. It's versatile, it has foliage, it blooms, it has beautiful flowers, and there's some options. You might not know, there's some options for it. So
that's true.
Yeah. So with that, let's get into it. Okay. So guys, here we are in our front yard, and we've got our lesser periwinkle here. We've got Vinca Minor. This is a beautiful trailing plant. It's a spreader, as you can see. There's a couple differences that we want to point out to you with Vinca Minor versus Vinca Major. Vinca Minor, meaning lesser or smaller, it actually has smaller leaves. The leaves are only 3/4 of an inch to 1 3/4 of an inch in length, and the plant itself, it only gets about 4 to 6 inches high total, but it spreads. It'll just spread unconditionally, just forever. It doesn't stop spreading. Where the Vinca Major will only spread to about 1.5 feet to maybe 2.5 feet, depending on which one you get, which variety or cultivar you get. So those are the major differences between these plants. You can see this one is more of a lavender flower. It has more of a lavender flower with it, and they're just delicate little beautiful flowers. Look at that.
I know, I love the color. It really pops this time of year, you guys. It's just starting to come into bloom. Now, our Vinca actually blooms multiple times a year, sometimes 3.
Yep.
But we had, some of this started blooming in December, if you can believe it. It's really starting to pop. We have some more areas of our yard to show you where we do grow Vinca.
We have a different kind of Vinca, a different leafed Vinca in our backyard. So that'll be fun to show you guys. So guys, something to know about this this plant in our yard, this Vinca Minor. We didn't actually plant it in the yard. This was a holdover from when Allison's grandparents first bought the house and lived here. This has been here a very long time. Like Allison mentioned before, we've removed it in a lot of different places. We'll show you that in a little bit here, where we removed it from. We've thinned it out and removed it from over here a couple times, especially away from the house. And you can see it's grown back. It's grown back from about here all the way over in like the last year or two. And so basically we got to come in here and get it away from the house, because it will find new places to grow, and it will grow up into our siding of our house, which is not good.
That is not
good. Yeah, so this is definitely a spreader.
So you guys, here's another big clump of Vinca, and as you can see, it gets probably about 6 inches tall. We measured it this morning just to make sure. But you can see all the flowers coming in. There's lots of new blooms about to burst.
Oh yeah.
So it does make a beautiful ground cover. It's a very striking contrast. But again, the problem is it can be very invasive. You really do have to stay on top of this. For example, we have a beautiful hydrangea here that we still need to deadhead for this upcoming season. But you can see the Vinca is actually wrapping around the stems, and we don't want that to continue, because that could potentially choke out and kill this plant.
Yep.
We do not want that to happen.
Yep. So it needs some control. I think we control ours about 2 or 3 times. We prune ours about 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah. We actually are going to need to get on top of it soon, because now that it's spring, it is going to start even growing even more. So over here, about a year ago, we removed a lot of Vinca from this area. So, and I can see some remnants of it still trying to pop up. Basically what we did is we just cleared out this whole area. And so if you happen to see that video, you saw us just ripping Vinca out, because you have to really get in under the soil and get the vines out, because they just spread everywhere. We have a lot coming up right here, and we're not going to want this to regrow. But we just kind of controlled it by taking it back. We removed this entire bed, and to allow this hellebore and that hellebore and all the other plants we're going to add to this area to really thrive. All right, you guys, we're in the backyard now, and we have even more Vinca back here, if you can imagine. Like Sean explained, we didn't plant any of this originally, so it's even more of a control issue for us. So we've left little clumps of it around the yard. Right here you can see, we actually do need to kind of cut this down a little bit. It's starting to kind of get a little rangy, but you can see some of the flowers coming into bloom. A really cool fact about periwinkle, which is known as Vinca, is it can grow in sun or shade, or partial sun. It's really like, it thrives pretty much anywhere, but just know that it will bloom more and more vibrant blooms in the sun.
So guys, we're still in the backyard. We're in a different area. We're over here. Oh, there's our neighbor's dog. So we're over here. You can see this Vinca looks a little bit different. It's got a little bit lighter color to it in some places. It also has what we call a variegation on its leaves. The white margins and some discoloration of the leaves. This is perfectly normal for this plant to have this type of leaf. A lot of variegation is from basically like a plant virus. It doesn't hurt the plant, but it actually physically changes the plant to have a characteristic like this. And that's why you'll see sometimes on different plants, they'll have perfectly normal looking leaves like this that are just glossy and beautiful and just that bright green. And then on the same plant in the same clump, you'll have this variegation. It's just something that happens, and different plants react differently with this variegation and the causes from it. So, but it's fun to think about and it's fun to show you guys. Besides the variegation coming from possibly a virus, it also could be just a different kind of, different cultivar of the Vinca Minor was planted over here years ago, and we don't know because we weren't here, right? So it could have just spread around, and that's why we see this mix this way. Something to think about this plant. We already told you it's invasive. Allison mentioned it'll grow in sun or shade or partial shade. Part of its invasiveness, it can be. Other thing is it'll grow in almost any kind of soil. I mean, it's not particular about the soil. Also, it can thrive in kind of wet conditions or really dry conditions. It is drought tolerant, but it doesn't take a lot of water to keep it healthy. So it's like up to maybe a moderate type of watering, but not like an everyday type of watering. So if you do have this in your yard and you want to keep it healthy, do not water it every day unless you have really well draining soil. Otherwise, what will happen is the plant will start to rot, and it is susceptible to some rotting diseases, Phytophthora, botrytis, different kinds of molds and funguses. So it is susceptible to rot. So not only is periwinkle susceptible to different kinds of rots and molds and fungi, if it's kept too wet, it's also susceptible to different insects like spider mites, scale, whiteflies, and even aphids. So keep that in mind and look for those, especially if your plant's under any type of stress, especially if it's too wet or even it's looking a little droopy and it's really dry and it's starting to wilt. That will make it more susceptible to pests in your area. So,
do deer count?
Hi, deer.
You guys, this is kind of funny. I mean, the Vinca is actually kind of growing up over this really old deer that my grandpa must have placed there about 50 years ago. Mm-hmm. So you guys, this is kind of the wild side of our yard. So what we're showing you here is an untapped landscape that we have yet to really tackle.
Yep, and also, I mean, you can see part of this. We've come back and we've a number of times in the last year. Well, you can see it's growing from its current growing location into this path. And this is kind of the forgotten area of our yard.
It really is.
Sorry guys, it's kind of a mess.
It's kind of messy, but it's fun to think like all the possibilities over here.
But you can see this is starting to grow over into this gravel area. If given the chance, this will literally get down in here and root itself in here and start spreading across if we let it go. So this does take definitely some maintenance over a year, and it's multiple times a year. So
we hope you enjoyed that video about Vinca Minor, and again, we have it all over our yard, so we will be controlling that soon. But we do so enjoy when they're in bloom because they are beautiful.
Yep, they add a lot of color. Even those little tiny flowers, they add a lot of color to your yard, and especially ours, as you can see. So yeah, we feel fortunate to have it in our garden.
Plus, they're evergreen. I don't know if we've emphasized that enough, but that is a nice feature.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a ground cover that you do want to spread around an entire area and have it fill in, Vinca might be a good option for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a beautiful plant, real versatile. Yeah, make sure guys to not ingest any part of the plant though, because it is slightly toxic and it will upset your stomach.
Actually, you guys, we forgot to mention, Vinca is part of the Apocynaceae family, which is in the dogbane family.
Say that name 3 times fast.
Apocynaceae might be how it's really.
Apocynaceae.
It's Latin. I mean, but the dogbane family was actually so named because most of the plants in that family are poisonous. So that's kind of interesting and sad.
But yeah. but
make sure your dogs don't eat it.
good thing to be aware of. So guys, if you want to know even more about how to maintain your plants like Vinca and other plants in your yard, or you just want to know more about how plants grow and know how to design with them, definitely go check out our book for pre-order right now on Amazon.
Yeah, we wrote this book to help you care for your garden, and it's called The First Time Gardeners Growing Plants and Flowers, but it's not meant for just first-time gardeners. Anyone can benefit if you're looking for more information. You want to learn how to mulch, how to prune. We've got all kinds of information in this book.
Yep, and it'll be released on April 13th. And also, when you pre-order the book before April 13th, you get 2 free bonuses. So definitely check out the link below. And if you have any comments or questions about this video, definitely let us know down below. And give us that thumbs up, let us know we're doing a good job, and subscribe to our channel so you get updates on our latest videos.
That's a wrap for today's Plant Chat, you guys. And we'll be back with you tomorrow live on our weekly Saturday YouTube Live at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Cool.
Come hang out with us, bring your tea and coffee, bring your garden questions, and start your day talking about gardening and plants.
Yep, we'll see you there, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.